Now, you know that I love me some obscurity, especially when it comes to Saturday morning TV. That magical era that gave us some of the most influential programs of all time. Batman, the animated series, G.I. Joe, the X-Men, the animated series, and countless others. And then they had to fill the other 6 hours in the morning, so they had to pump out whatever they could. I would certainly put children's game shows in the filler category. For the most part, they were kept simple and fun, while barely fulfilling the education/information quota. But to surround all of these previous elements with a license that's more known for midnight horror comedies and bloodshed, that's a special kind of crazy. So get yourself a nightlight and keep away the ghouls as we take a look at Secrets of the CryptKeeper's Haunted House.
Welcome, creeps. Today's assortment of games and challenges are a bit more mean-spirited and a touch more fiendishly difficult than usual. I plan on reducing those snoopy little beastly brats to a shadow of their former selves. There'll be nothing left of them but a small heap of rattling bones. Then I'm really gonna suck it to them. It's time now, kiddies, for Secrets of the CryptKeeper's Haunted House! Greetings from Universal Studios, Florida, kiddies! It's Secrets of the CryptKeeper's Haunted House! It's time now for battling ghosts and surviving slimy swamps, where every room presents another morbid challenge, another eerie and impossible mission for all those snoopy kids who dare to enter my chambers of horror. And now, kiddies, here's a host who ain't a ghost.
Debuting in 1996, putting it in about the era as the Weird Al show, which we have gone over in a previous episode, Secrets of the CryptKeeper's Haunted House was a children's game show along the lines of like a Double Dare. A more Halloween-themed Double Dare, but Double Dare nonetheless. And as much as I want to keep putting this show down, it was nominated for a Daytime Emmy in 1997 for Outstanding Game Show? You know, take that, Beat the Geeks. This is actually the last series in the Tales from the Crypt franchise, and actually has John Kassir voicing his role of the Crypt Keeper. I have to say, this entire idea is just super weird. Tales from the Crypt was a very successful series on the HBO network, which was a premium channel you had to pay extra for back in the days of basic cable. Which means they could include graphic violence, profanity, sexual activity, and nudity. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a perfect setting for a kid's game show. And just as a bookkeeping note, if you pay attention to that kind of thing, Tales from the Crypt was the original HBO series, while Tales from the Crypt Keeper was the 1993 animated spin-off for ABC, which was way toned down in content. And yes, I did confuse the two names of those shows. That's what you get for making the license so damn close together in names. Although, as a fun side effect from delving into the past and things like that, it's really funny when the show goes to commercial, just depending on the toys it's trying to sell.
At the end of 2 fights, the Nietzsche about to a 15-point lead over the Amoebas, 35-20.
If you hate to see a grown creep cry, stop these kids from winning! Secrets of the CryptKeeper's Haunted House will return after these messages.
Sky dancers! They're flying! Fly for me, just for me, sky dancers dance for me. Wow, they really fly! Come to me, dance for me.
Anything for the dollar, man. Anything. The show would pit 2 teams of 2 kids against one another in challenges to score points. Whoever had the most points wins. The pretty standard game show fare. But remember, due to FCC regulations, and possibly pushed by CBS as well, there had to be some form of educational interest happening. So they throw in some of the most basic word puzzles and math games they can. And trust me, these are pretty bare minimum puzzle solving. Like, 6 words are on a board and they're each missing 1 letter. It's certainly sitting on that line of goo goo gaga lollipop, just surrounded by a professionally made haunted house. And the worst part of it is when the kids don't figure it out. Like, the kid will get a clue, he stares blankly at the screen with the puzzle, all while I'm sitting at home going, "It's baseball diamond, Kyle! Look, I'll let you slide with kangaroo court, you don't know what that is, but come on! You played Little League last year, you should know this one!" While the kids are doing the games, the Crypt Keeper is commenting on them, a la Takashi's Castle. It's his usual dad horror puns, and every once in a while, something about the timing will make me chuckle at it. It's so cheesy, but it's exactly what the kid deserves. Every now and again, if you watch multiple episodes on YouTube, you'll hear the exact same quip in almost the same situation, which, I get it. You're trying to turn out 2 months episodes in a week. You really have to meet those deadlines. Hey, I didn't even try on that one. But here's my one complaint, and maybe my biggest complaint. I don't like the Crypt Keeper puppet here. The head seems to be, very animatronic, as it has the eyes opening and closing and moving different parts of the jaw, things like that. Maybe not as detailed as the puppet from the show, but well done for, again, a children's game show. The only thing that's really unnerving are the hands. It's set up so that it's the puppet head and a puppeteer is using their hands for this, along the lines of like a Swedish chef or Rolf the dog. But for someone who is basically a zombie in the Crypt Keeper, it feels like the hands have too much meat on them. It just kind of takes me out of the immersion part. So let's talk about some of the games in the show. The first round was always Fireball Alley. One kid would be on this mildly shaking suspension bridge while trying to defend some headstones from dodgeballs being flung at them by Digger the Skull. They would then answer a number of questions based on how many stones are still standing. The whole point of this game is for the crew members to bean kids in the face with dodgeballs. And sometimes they go straight up war mode, like Adam Sandler and Billy Madison. It's presented as if this giant skull named Digger is making fun of them and spitting fireballs at them, but in reality, it's a 3v1 dodgeball battle that the kids can't win. Especially if the kid tried talking back a little bit, they get it even worse. Then there's the Worminator. The kids try to travel across this moving platform while trading these dodgeballs back and forth while in a strong wind tunnel. The show always said it's 100 miles per hour winds, but some of these kids have not hit any kind of growth spurt yet. They're very tiny. If these were 100 mile per hour winds, they would be sliding off of this padded, smooth platform and causing all kinds of insurance issues. I would probably say it's more maybe 50 miles an hour. It's really not the most exciting of events. The third round was always the incredible shrinking room. This is the previously mentioned fill-in-the-blank word puzzle, but while you're letter searching, the walls and ceiling are actually shrinking around them, almost about to crush them. And for a show that's about 75, maybe 85% CGI, this effect is really well done. Like the roof starts shaking, walls start moving in, party smoke covers up the bottom of the floor. The game itself is pretty dumb, but the effects around it are smashing. I'm not sure if that one counts. Whatever. The fourth game was the rotating game. They had a handful of ones where they would switch it up, and there's not enough time to find specific episodes for all of them. But what I will talk about here is the abundance of CGI usage in the show. you're talking this late 90s era of CG animation. You know, you had shows like Reboot years before, which was super smooth and polished and looked amazing. And you had shows like Beast Wars Transformers, which was less so. Here on Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House, it's a lot of background elements, like a 3D hallway or a deep pit of spiders, things along those lines. And I have to say, ooh, it looks bad. Imagine someone trying to make a Mortal Kombat stage on like the first level of Crash Bandicoot. It's chunky, there's a lot of space, the movement isn't great or smooth. It tries to be a flavor enhancer, but it comes off as a little too much. And then, the final event was where most of the budget was spent: skullduggery. This is where two kids would get to rummage through the haunted house, trying to find rubber skulls hidden throughout the sets. And they went over the top with these places. Imagine being on par with like the Haunted Mansion in Disney theme parks, that kind of detail. Except A, the footage is so dark and not HD friendly that it's really hard to see what's going on or what's even in that room. And B, the kids get what feels like 7 seconds to explore. It's, you know, maybe 10 to 15 seconds, but they're moving them through these rooms pretty damn fast. But it is a really cool way to end a show with such set dressing. Overall, I have to give Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House points for being so outlandishly unique in a crowded lineup. You know, every cartoon has a toy line to push and an entire season's worth of shows to get through. And yet, you know, here I am, waxing nostalgia on a game show that lasted for a year. You know, at least it's more innovative than Wheel 2000, which was Wheel of Fortune for kids. The CGI itself is a little overbearing and not great, but it does give it a bit more flair than a lousy haunted house on the town fairgrounds. Or should I say, scaregrounds. Yeah, I shoehorned that one in. No, I am not proud of myself. I'm going to give Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House a 6 out of 10.